As hard as your situation may seem, I promise you, it's all right here. Between this and this, yeah, this is your safe space. So this man got me sitting up here running around thinking that they done gave out my location. No, they didn't give it out. He lied. Empress, why? By the way, good morning, good morning, good morning, Empresses and Emperors. I hope you're doing well today. And I hope you're having a great week thus far. Hi, Empresses and Emperors. I hope you're doing well today. I hope your week is going well also, and you are being kind to yourself, because that is what we need. We need to be kind to ourselves. I'm outside on this rainy day getting a project done that I have been wanting to complete. So remember in the previous video I told you how I wasn't ready to get rid of the statues in my yard, and they had holes in them. So I took some expanding foam and I just filled in the holes because I didn't want anything to be crawling in there. Well, apparently this broke. Baby, a broken angel wing, but that's fine because I'm gonna paint them, and I'm gonna paint over this expanding foam as well to make it match. So that's what we're doing right here today. Oh, look at them, so pretty, 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 pretty. Well, y'all know I got my little incense because the mosquitoes be mosquitoing. I'm gonna just set these down. I don't want no problems. And I got an old can of paint, like paint that I done added stuff from to and taken stuff from, put water in it and done diluted and all. I'm just gonna use this paint because it's the same. It's nothing special. It's just paint I've had. It looks like this. I'm gonna put water in it just to make it to the point where it's more spreadable. Like it'll spread now, but yeah, I'm just using something that I already have, so I'm not trying to buy nothing else. Putting water in it so I can whitewash it. That's what they call it anyway, and it's an old paintbrush, so just gonna paint over it. I'm not gonna even put this a certain way, like cut this expanding foam. I'm not even gonna cut it. I'm gonna leave it just like it is. And along with me painting, I'm just gonna do like a story time as well, like for when I was younger. I'm gonna tell you about an experience that I had. I was young. I was like, had to be at least in my 20s. Like, I was in my 20s. Anyway, it was a boyfriend, and I'm still painting too, y'all. And he would have me on that roller coaster. Y'all know what roller coaster I'm talking about. As you know, empaths, we pretty much, for some reason, people love our energy. People love our energy. They love to play in our energy and then call us crazy. I've been called crazy so much it don't even make no sense, but that's okay. So what he would do is try and trigger me. I wasn't really raised to be like, to take care of myself. I was raised to take care of other people. I was just taught to do what other people tell you to do and just do it and just be quiet and you don't have an opinion. That's it. So when I got out in the world, it was like, okay, well, I'm doing what other people are telling me to do. Now, I wasn't trained or taught to defend myself. I wasn't taught to defend myself. I wasn't taught to defend my emotions. I was just taught to pretty much take care of other people and not take care of myself. And so for a large portion of my life, that's what I did. which is not the best way, because you can raise a child, and when that child doesn't do something you want them to do, it's not fair to that child just to be like, okay, you're on your own now. You're on your own. That's not fair at all. It's not fair to that child. And so for the most part, when I got out on my own, I did what I wanted to do. As being a younger person, I had a lot of emotion and didn't really know how to handle my emotions because I wasn't taught. I think that has something to do with me being an empath, being able to tune into others' emotions, because I've always dealt with other people's emotions instead of really just dealing with myself, my own emotions. I didn't really talk to my family that much. I stopped talking to them because I got tired of being told what to do, and it's like, okay, you're telling me what to do, but what reason? Because at some point you're going to want to know why you're being told to do these things, and on top of that, who's really benefiting? Like, who's benefiting from these things? And it just seemed like every time it's like I never benefited. So with my first boyfriend, well, not my first boyfriend, but pretty much the one that I was gonna marry, we had plans to marry. He was very manipulative, and I didn't know how all of that even started because I didn't see it coming. One incident that happened between me and my ex, we were together for like a couple of years, and then we broke up, and I had started seeing other people. He didn't want me to see other people. So I was like, I'm not gonna just be sitting here alone because you're being difficult. Like, I didn't want to be that person, and that was just alone. I was young, I was energetic, I was living my life, and there was always consistent arguing, consistent triggering, and here I am the whole time just trying to make things better. It was just always something. So one time we had got into it real bad, and and I was seeing other people, and he didn't want me to. And he was like, well, where are you? I was like, I'm at home, because I feel like I need to tell him anything. We weren't together anymore. I was like, why am I telling you anything with your mean self? So he tells me that he called the phone company, because at the time we had Sprint PCS. We both had it. And I'm like, how you call Sprint PCS? He was like, well, they told me where your phone was. They told me where you were. They told me your location. Now, mind you, me being the age that I was, I didn't know that you could or could not give out a person's location. I didn't know any of that stuff. All I knew was that, hey, how am I being tracked? So just so happens, the way I was, I actually went to Sprint PCS. I went to the call center. So here I am going to the call center at 10 something at night, right? Child, why is gonna ring? I was asking them, I was like, why did y'all give out my location? They was like, ma'am, we can't give out your location legally. So this man got me sitting up here running around thinking that they done gave out my location. No, they didn't give it out. He lied. But that's what he was. He was a liar, and I didn't even know. I didn't know to what extent he would be trying to get his way with me, just because he couldn't have me the way he wanted to have me, which was control me. It's raining. Y'all hear it? Like, it's raining. Oh, it's raining, raining, raining. I don't feel it yet though. I'm up under a tree. Okay, the rain done ran me in the house, y'all. But like I was saying, I didn't know that people were so manipulative. I didn't even know that I was even being manipulated. I knew that in our relationship, there was a lot of arguing. There was a lot of going back and forth. It was very, very toxic. And I knew I wanted to be with that person because somebody said, oh, you should be with an older man. He was older than me. He was older than me by like 5 years. So he knew the game. And he was very intelligent. And at one point, I will always say he's one of the most, at one point I've said that he was the most intelligent person that I've ever met, that I know. Now I look at it and it's not so much as intelligence, it is manipulation. Because people like that, they'll use information against you to get ahead, or either to get a certain response out of you, or to get their way. And the only reason I say that is because I've had work situations where people have manipulated the situation to get their way. So definitely not the smartest one of the smartest person I've known. But one of the most manipulative people that I've known. So, like I said, very, very calculating, had a photographic memory, a lot of back and forth. He had a child already, I didn't, and we had talked about it. We wanted to get married, so we moved in together, and he got his stuff together and he left. When I say he got his stuff together, this is after we had moved in together, and it's after a year or so, we were living together. It was a lot of back and forth. I was in school, I went to school, and I remember one time I had got up in the middle of my sleep. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning because he was on the bed and he was ironing. But he was taking the iron and he was moving the iron back and forth, trying to get the wrinkles out. Now, out of all the places in this house that he could have ironed, he chose to iron in the room. Now, mind you, he knew I went to school at night, and so I didn't go to bed till like 11. And it's like 4 or 5, like 5 o'clock in the morning, and he up there moving the bed. And he would do that with the light on, like the bright light on, like the overhead light, because I had lamps. He just chose not to use the lamp, or he chose not to go in another room. So he would intentionally do things to trigger me. And it was like, could you go in another room? Or could you stop? And that was an argument. He would do things to intentionally trigger me. And it's like, me being the age I was, looking back now, I'm like, girl, why? Girl, why? Empress, why? Empress, why? Empress, why? That was time wasted. That was so much time wasted. And I didn't even know I was wasting time. As a friend, my guy friend from New York, he was like, yeah, baby, he was running out your clock. He was running the clock out. And that's what he was doing. He was running the clock out, using my good energy. Because I wasn't to the point where, you know, some females, they're just reckless. You know what I'm saying? Like they crave drama. I wasn't the drama filled person. I wasn't the person who argued. I was really laid back, calm, and I like to go out. Um, I love to dance. I love to dance. And I was a chill person. I wasn't out here in the streets like that with this person, that person. That wasn't even my mentality. Actually, that's never been my mentality like that. That's never been my mentality. I've always just wanted one person. I've always wanted only one person in my life, like just one solid person. And I thought that I had, that we crossed paths. And unfortunately, that was not the case. It was a bad situation. I fell into a lot of trauma that I didn't even know I was falling into. And it was just a bad situation. His sisters were, well, one of the sisters in particular were involved. And you know that movie, how they say the angry black woman? She was the angry black woman. Even thinking about it right now, she was the angry black woman. And she would be feeding into our relationship. And he was raised by his aunt and his uncle because his parents had passed. And he had a lot of female energy. He had a lot of female energy. And I didn't even know it. Yeah, baby. But that old manipulation, is something. And I fell for that a number of times. Not just with him, but with other people too, because I didn't even know that it was happening. Because I was so, I still got a little bit of it in me now, but I've always been the person like, if you got me and I know you got me, then I got you. It didn't take much for me to be like, okay, this is my friend. You know, it didn't take much. And it didn't take much because I didn't value myself. But now I value myself. I value myself to the point where I don't want to be in unhealthy relationships. I don't want to argue. I'm not about the back and forth. I'm not about that drama. I am not that girl. I've never been that girl. The relationships and the experiences that I've had, played into me getting to that point to where I had to defend myself because I didn't know any other way to do it because of the people I were running into. Because until you fully know yourself, you'll keep running into the same circles and the same type of people. And I had to put a stop to it. Unfortunately, that relationship with him was the beginning of just a spiraling down. It was the beginning of it. This is what I'm looking at right now. I had to remove the cushions from my chairs. And here's the lovely plant that's touching my face. Oh gosh. I got plants all up and around. And I know some people might be like, oh, well, what your friends, your family, and all this and all that. And I'm just like, I've never been that girl to have the best friend. I've always wanted a best friend. I think it would be nice. I've always wanted a sister. That would have been nice. But I've never had friends. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people, and I've called people my friends for years. But somebody that's like my best friend, because what I thought was my best friend turned out to be a not best friend. She was a not best friend. It was just somebody just sitting back and looking, and that hurts all by itself. To call somebody your friend and then to know that they're really not, because of a certain situation that happened. It's like they could have really showed up for you, but they chose to stand back and look. But back to him, that was wasting time. He was running out my clock, and I didn't even know. Had me going up to a doggone call center at 10 o'clock at night. I'm at the receptionist desk. There's a wall, but you can see, like beyond the wall, you can see like the desk and all the people on the phones. And I'm like, well, who told him my information? And they're like, ma'am, we're not allowed to give out that information. Looking crazy, looking like a fool, all because a manipulative person. And then at the end of everything, after it was all said and done, out of all that, he putting me through all that, us going through all that, he gets himself together financially and leaves after he's done his damage, and leaves. Uh-oh. Oh well, guess that's something else I gotta fix. No problem. I put it up, I can take it down. It's more to it. We'll just call him Mr. Pie. Mr. Pie and his plots. Because that's what he was doing, plotting. So if you're around somebody who likes drama, who does not mind stirring the pot, who does not mind creating bad situations, just know that you can do better. Just know that you can do better. I promise you. It may not seem like it at the time, but you can do better. Because a lot of times whenever people are in manipulative situations, they're by themselves. They really don't have anybody to talk to or anybody that they can go to. And when I say they can talk to, because people can talk to you. You can talk to a person on the street, and you can talk to a family member, you can talk to a friend, you can talk to them. But it's like once you had a conversation, that's it. I'm talking about somebody who is there for you, because people need people they can confide in. And then I knew at that time I couldn't confide in nobody, so I didn't feel comfortable even sharing. Like, why would I share something I can't even confide in you in? Like, I don't, beyond this conversation that we may have at this moment, that is all. You're not following up on me. You're not going to say, hey, let's go grab a bite to eat. You're not doing, that person is not doing that. And I knew that if I couldn't have a relationship with the person that I was confiding in, what was the point? So therefore I stayed to myself, because that was the safest place. And I didn't even know myself, you know, I'm my own safe space. This right here, this is all I need. I didn't know I needed it. And same for anybody else. You are your safe space. In here, you're your own safe space. You don't need nobody else. And as painful as your situation, or as complicated or as hard as your situation may seem, I promise you, it's all right here between this and this. Yeah, this is your safe space. This and this. And as I got older, not letting people use my emotions against me, because that's what he was doing. He was manipulating my emotions, because as empaths, we have strong emotions. People love to see our energy. They call them what? Energy vampires. And people love to see that energy. People love to see, it's almost like energy in motion. You know what I'm saying? Energy in motion. They like to see it for whatever reason. I think you know what? I know why. It's because they can control it. Just like that, the 20-year friendship I had to let go, recently. He loved to see that energy in motion because he felt like he could control it. It's control. People always want to control. They can't even control themselves for successful outcomes in that. At a call center, 10 o'clock at night, talking about why y'all gave out my information. And they ain't did nothing. All because this man is jealous because I done started seeing somebody else. And then had the nerve to call me a gold digger. Oh, you ain't nothing but a gold digger. After he got out on his own. You ain't nothing but a gold digger. I was like, if I'm a gold digger, why am I talking to you? Because this other man, he has a house. He's got 2 cars. He has a motorcycle and a 4-wheeler. What? And I mean, the cars were like, I think one of the cars was like a X5. And this is like some years ago. It's like, if I'm a gold digger, why am I talking to you and I could be with him right now? Because he wanted me. But you got this manipulative little brat in a corner yelling, 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 and it's all because my emotions are intertwined with him. Gold digger, y'all. I ain't never been called a gold digger. That was the only time in my life that I have ever been called a gold digger. And after I told him everything that man had, the house, the 2 cars, the motorcycle, and the photo, he shut up. He shut up. Looking dumbfounded. And then had the audacity, like years later, he would try and contact me. And I talked to him a couple of times or whatever, because at that time we weren't even in communication on a regular basis. But after I got with this other person who was no good too, here we are going out for Halloween, right? Mr.Pie was there, but I didn't know Mr.Pie was there. This is when Avatar came out, right? So you know how everybody was dressing up in Avatar costumes, right? So they in the Avatar costumes, so their face is painted and they're, they can't really, you don't really know who it is. So here I am at a costume party with this other guy who ain't no good. We call him Spritzer. So I'm with Spritzer. Then Mr. Pie. So Mr. Pie shows up on my left-hand side and Spritzer's on my right side. So I'm getting my drink on. I'm getting my little dance on at the bar, having a good time. A good time. And Mr. Pie is there. And he was like, the conversation was very brief, but he was there. Didn't even know. That's how creepy and manipulative he was. And controlling. So a couple of days later, he called me. He was like, "What'd you do for Halloween?" I was like, "Oh, me and such and such, I went out." And he was like, "Okay." He was like, "Where you go out to?" I went, and I told him. He was like, "Oh, I was there too." I was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "I didn't see you." Oh, he was like, "I was in the Avatar costume. I was right beside you." I was like, "Really?" I was like, "So you mean to tell me you dressed up in the Avatar costume with a mask on so that I wouldn't know it was you?" Now that's that ish right there. That's that ish. And I remember another time being downtown and I was walking and all of a sudden he was driving. It was giving stalker. It was giving stalker because I've had a stalker before. It was giving stalker. He was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm walking." Now, didn't offer to give me a ride or nothing, but was driving beside me. Didn't offer no ride. That's how silly he was. Crazy, y'all, crazy. I'm back outside, y'all. So I wanted to show you this right here. My tree had a hole down in it. Some kind of way a hole had developed. And I was reading online and it said what you could do. What you could do is take some sawdust and wood glue and fill in the hole. So if you ever have a hole in your tree, I don't know how that hole got there first of all, but I know it was a hole in there. So I took some sawdust and then wood glue and I filled it in. So this is how it looks now. Now, remember I told you how I had got that slime flux on the other tree and it spread it to this tree. That black stuff, that was just me putting some stuff on there so roots and stuff, other tree limbs won't start growing. So here I am, round 2, trying to get this done. Oh gosh, and out the way. It was doing so good. Just need to dry now. I'm not really worried about this grass because I gotta cut grass anyway. It's the top layer. And if this don't work, I'll resort to spray painting. Your girl is very, very creative. Let's just say that. Very creative, very innovative. With this paintbrush, you know it's going straight in the trash after this. I don't utilize this paintbrush enough. Just try it, and this is it. Yep, you served your purpose, Mr. Paintbrush. Alright, here's another completed project. My little baby statues. My little angels. So you don't have to go out and buy expensive stuff. Whenever you can just go ahead and upcycle it or redo it. Just paint and spray foam, and there it is.